Either you want to know how to increase your average speed, or you want to know why I find focusing on average speed silly, maybe even detrimental to your cycling. Okay, first of all, I'm gonna admit that every now and then I will aim for a high average speed, especially if I'm going over a long flat ride. And there's no real reason to it except for that it is a vanity thing. I mean, it's all about that Strava post, right? When you post it on Strava and it shows your average speed, and then it's cool. It's cool if it's over 30 kilometers per hour over a 100-kilometer ride. But I also have to admit that focusing on speed is silly and can be not good for your cycling. Okay, first I'll share a few tips and tricks on how to increase your average speed on a bicycle, and some of these really are tricks. Let's get the most obvious ones out of the way first. Obviously, you need to train. Going fast on a bike means training your body to go fast. You can't expect to just hop on a bike after months of sitting on the couch, watching TV, eating chips. You can't expect to just go fast after not doing anything. Training makes you faster. The second obvious thing is choose a fast bike. There is a reason why triathletes use TT bikes when they do a triathlon, because TT bikes are much faster than regular bikes. Now, TT bikes are not the safest thing on the road, so a road bike will do just fine, like a fast aero road bike. That'll do just fine for going fast. So choose a fast bike. If you already have a road bike, you can always buy new stuff to make you faster, which segues into this vlog sponsor, Cycle Meeting. I'm on the Cycle Meeting Facebook page, and we're gonna see what stuff will make you faster. I looked at a few things, and here's one. If you do the research, you can probably find out which road tire is fast. Fast road tires are important to make you go faster, so that's a good upgrade. Of course, you want an aero helmet to make you faster as well. Aero is faster. That's probably not very aero. Where was that aero helmet? I think I saw one. This looks like an aero helmet. That's gonna make you faster. Of course, you also want aero handlebars and even a longer stem. The longer stem will allow you to get into a more aero position. I'll talk about aero a little bit more in the video, but you can get all of these things in the Cycle Meeting Facebook page. They have a lot of good stuff that will make you faster on the bike. Send them a message. Thank you, Cycle Meeting, for sponsoring the vlog. Now here are the less obvious tricks to having a high average speed. Ride in an aero position. Now trust me, you need to practice this as well, because this means making your body as small as possible so that there's less wind resistance on your body. Once you reach higher speeds, air resistance will be the number one thing slowing you down. And the thing causing the most drag on the bike is actually you. You're like a parachute on the bike. You are causing it to go slow. So practice making your surface area of your body as small as possible. Bend your elbows, tuck your head down, and then just practice that position. Next thing is wear cycling specific clothing that fits. Generally speaking, you don't want to wear clothing that flaps in the wind. It's like a parachute slowing you down. Tighter generally means more aero. More aero means faster. I know, I really love wearing shirts on my bike rides. Speed is silly. But anyway. Next tip is to ride with somebody fast and just draft them the whole way. Drafting can reduce your effort by as much as 30%. So you can have all the speed with much less effort. Just don't get dropped. Lastly, choose a route that is ideal for a high average speed. Don't choose a route that has a lot of hills or mountains. Ideally, the route is pancake flat and maybe even with a slight downhill to get the speed even faster. With no traffic or stoplights. You don't want to slow down when the traffic slows down. You don't want to stop when you hit a red light. now we're going to talk about some of the silly little tricks to achieving a high average speed. And some of these are definitely silly. Don't use a sports watch or your phone to record the ride. Once you go to a cafe stop, your watch or phone will continue recording movement, especially when you're walking around, and that speed is gonna drop. You could pause that, but you run the risk of forgetting to unpause the ride once you start going again. And trust me, I've had a few rides where only half the distance was recorded. So just use the bike computer. That's just going to be more accurate. The next trick is to choose a day with a massive tailwind. The tailwind is going to literally push you forward, and then you're going to be able to go so fast with no effort. You're going to be so fast if you get to choose the right day. I wonder how I could check if I'm going to get a tailwind tomorrow. Last silly trick is to start and end your ride on the fast roads. So if you're like me, you probably start from your house and you have to pass a few slow roads, maybe a hill, maybe a traffic stop, maybe even some gravel roads. And that's going to slow down your average speed. So why not just start your ride once you're going to be on the fast roads? And then stop your ride after you're done with the fast bit. And then there, you have a high average speed. Some of these aren't as silly as you would think. I've done almost all of them. Because again, it looks cool on Strava when you have a high average speed. It's just, that's the rule. That's the rule. It's cool if you have a high speed. But focusing on speed is problematic. One time when I was less experienced, I was cycling and staring at my speed. And I was wondering, why am I going so slow? I had a long way to go, so I focused on putting more efforts in the pedals. I zoned out. I managed to hit the speed that I was used to, but about an hour later, I was tired. I was gassed, and I still wasn't home. I was so focused on getting a higher speed that I didn't realize I was biking into a headwind. It made me frustrated because I had unrealistic expectations. And also, after doing this long enough, I realized that what I love about cycling is exploring, is the adventure aspect of it. And if I were trying to get a faster speed every time I went out on a bike ride, I wouldn't be exploring so much because I would end up just doing the same roads over and over and over again to achieve a higher average speed. Adventuring and exploring is not a good recipe for a high average speed. There are days when the goal is to go fast. There are days when the goal is to do all the other stuff that makes cycling fun. Whether that be hanging out with friends, coffee rides, slow climbs up hills, exploring, adventuring, and you know, going fast is fun, but there's so many other things about cycling that make it fun as well. And when you're focusing on speed, if that is your only metric of joy for cycling, there's a high possibility for burnout, for frustration, for just spending all your money on upgrading your bike just to save 50 grams. Speed becomes even less of a factor when you are optimizing for enjoyment. And honestly, sometimes that enjoyment is speed. But most times, speed has nothing to do with it. How about you? I'd like to hear more from you. What do you think about focusing on speed for your rides? If you'd like to hear more from me, I write a newsletter every week called the Villain Newsletter. You can subscribe over here. New video soon.